navigate these things, be able to actually talk to us about how to succeed, to dream big, but also succeed big. Ladies and gentlemen, please invite on the stage Faris P1
Hello. Hello, hello, hello.
Great to see you. Can I put this on?
You can put it wherever you like.
Perfect. Oh.
Oh.
There you go.
Thank you. All right, I could do with that. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you? Good. I'm far too panto for TEDx, right? I like interaction. I like moving around. I like breaking the rules. Sorry, Barbara. I meant to stick this up, complete the puzzle. But I'm going to keep hold of it. A, to break the rules. B, it can hide my notes. All right? Always show what you do. And C, it's going to really confuse the hell out of people who are just watching the video and have had no context of the day. For those people, I'm really sorry. I'm just going to talk about the day a little bit before I do my talk. I know I'm not meant to, but who cares? Wow, what a day. What a day, yeah? 7 incredible speakers. Ego, I'm counting myself there. 6 incredible speakers. Who have shared some really powerful lessons. Okay, I don't know about you, but right now I am channeling my inner lion. All right, I'm trying to roar, trying not to be nervous. I also resonated a lot as the son of an immigrant, hearing about the challenges that immigrants face day in, day out. Really reminded me of my own parents' journey. Similarly, hearing about the Congolese journey. I definitely, I thought about what are the heaviest burdens we're carrying today. And for me, it's this, and I thought about pausing it. Daniel, thanks for your advice, but I don't want to leave everyone shortchanged. 7, I definitely am imagining the leader I want to be, and hopefully share that with you today. And as far as meeting Thierry Henry goes, that is up there on my list. And I'm not even going to mention how many more orgasms I would like in my life. Okay, right. I think I've set the bar for what my talk's going to be. But seriously, ladies and gentlemen, I'm incredibly nervous about this moment following those 6 speakers. I'm not nervous for me. I'm nervous for you. Why the hell am I nervous for you, right? That's so many powerful stories, so many great ideas, so many fantastic concepts that you have to walk away from here today and apply. So I guess the key question, seeing we're sitting in a university, is how good a learner are you? Would you call yourself a good learner? Hands up if you'd say you're a good learner. Ooh, that's for the camera, that's about 75% of the audience sticking their hands up. I'm going to be nice and say they're overconfident. If I was being rude, I'd say they're liars, right? Not because you're lying to yourselves. Here's what the science tells us. A human being will forget 70% of what they absorb within 24 hours. Fast forward to 48 hours, that is 95%. So come Monday morning, you're barely going to remember a third of one of the talks. Shit, I don't know about you, right? You got to pick wisely. Which one is it going to be? All right? Unfortunately, that's the science, right? The question isn't how good a learner you are. It's how good you are at applying the knowledge you already have. Right? I'm a firm believer that most of us have 99% of the knowledge we need to be successful. We're just not applying it. Right? Think of where we accrue knowledge in our life. We go to great talks like TEDx's. We've had great professors teach us stuff. We read amazing books. If only we could tap into that knowledge and actually apply some of it. Right? We don't need to read another book. We don't need to go to another lecture. We know all the powerful messages. That's why I'm here today. My talk's all about unlocking the knowledge within you. I'm going to talk about IQ, EQ, FQ, more of that shortly. But I'm here to teach you how to unlock the knowledge to be more successful at absolutely anything in life. How do I know? I'm the kind of idiot who does this stuff on himself. Right? I've been trying these techniques on myself for a very long time. Since I was about that size. Yeah, there's 3-year-old me, little Faris. Boy, he was cute. What happened? What happened, ladies and gentlemen? Turns out, when we're kids, we get a lot of the great knowledge that we could use in life. Don't know about you, but if your parents were anything like mine, they probably told you simple things like, you should go to bed early, you should get some of your sleep in, you should eat your vegetables, you should drink lots of water. Turns out they were only bloody right. What's happening nowadays? I'm paying literally thousands of pounds to listen to influencers, to get technology, read books all about how I should sleep more, eat more vegetables, drink more water. Turns out if I just listened to the great advice I'd received all those years ago, not only would I be saving money, I probably wouldn't have got into all the trouble that I got into as a kid, right? Let alone the trouble I got into in the rest of my life. Why did it take me 30 years to tap into some of that knowledge? What an idiot I was. If only I could have tapped into it 30 years sooner. Who knows? I might have been on Alfred's slide of the amazing people that he admired. I might have met Thierry Henry. Right? Don't wait the years that I waited. Okay? I'm going to show you how to do that. Right? Take some of the knowledge you already have. And we'll skip over my photos. There's a photo of me, but why have I put that photo up? I'd like to share a little story with you. Right? It's not my story. Well, I'm in it later on. It's the story of some call center agents. Okay? These were a team of agents in a call center whose job was to sell car insurance. Now, they had to ring people late at night as they were having their dinner, as they were about to settle in to watch Netflix, and try and sell them car insurance, even though these people didn't know they needed car insurance. As you can imagine, the reaction was not great. It was something like this. Right? And they were terrible at their job. Their sales performance wasn't very good. So their boss, in an attempt to improve their sales, thought, what can I do to help this team? And one day he called them in. And he said, team, I love you, but I got to help you. And I want you to try something with me. I've got a great idea. For the next month, I want you to do your jobs exactly as you do. Make the same calls, follow the same script. I just want you to do one different thing. They said, sure, boss. What do you want us to do? He said, I want you to do your job in an American accent. These are all a British team. They said, an American accent? One guy raised his hand. He said, boss, I don't know how to do an American accent. He said, sure you do. It doesn't matter how bad it is. It doesn't matter if it's deep south, y'all. It doesn't matter if it's from New York, you're coify. Just do an accent, right? You do an accent and tell her I'll put on accent classes for you. And to support you, every week we'll have an American-themed party, okay? We'll do whatever it takes, but for that 1 month, I want you to practice, do your calls in an American accent. Okay, so they went away. They started doing calls in an American accent. Halfway through, 1 week in, they began to lose a bit of faith. The boss was there rallying them, playing games with them, getting them to keep going. And they got to the end of the month, and the boss pulled them all into a room. And he put up their stats. And the most remarkable thing had happened. Every single member of that team, everybody in that room had improved their sales performance. Not just a little bit. The weakest performer had improved by 25%. The top performer had quintupled their sales, 5 times the sales, just by the American accent. And it turned out, in the debrief, why was this? When they listened to the calls, each of those people were a bit more confident on the call. They were not taking no for an answer. They were pushing back. They were closing more sales because British people see Americans as more confident. And it didn't matter how good the quality of the accent, they all became confident by trying an accent. They were unlocking something within themselves to be more confident. Now, I read this story over 20 years ago, and I probably, like many of you, had the reaction, what a load of bollocks. That surely never happened. But in my quest of taking any new information and trying it out, I see every new piece of information as a hypothesis. So I tested it because at that exact moment in time in my life, I happened to be running a team of 16 agents in a call center. We weren't selling car insurance, we were selling energy products. Not as glamorous, so even tougher. And I thought, sod it, I've got nothing to lose. This team, we were middle of the ranks in the call center. I told them all to try the American accent thing. I told them the story of the agents. Within a month, we were the top performing team. And I couldn't believe it. My bonus went up. The team were all happy. And that was the first time in my life I realized the power of adopting a persona to unlock something in myself and others. Now, fast forward to today. There you go, there's the American accent. All right. Fast forward to today, it is my job to go into companies and improve teams. I sharpen their effectiveness. I get more out of them. Okay? Work with some of the biggest corporates in the world to do this. And when I go in, I help them with 3 dimensions. We help them with IQ, EQ, and FQ. Now, I know the last one sounds like I'm swearing at you, so I'll say it again, FQ. All right? That's intelligence quotient, emotional quotient, and focus quotient. Ladies and gentlemen, whatever you want to achieve in life, you need these 3 components. As soon as you have a goal, you need these 3 components. As soon as you want to achieve something, you need these 3 components. It doesn't matter whether it's climbing Everest, selling more car insurance, or something personal, losing weight, learning a new language. Let me take you through this. Why do you need these 3 elements? The IQ, it's not your Mensa score, right? It is, if I have a goal, the IQ helps me generate the best way to achieve that goal, the best idea. So for that call center manager, he probably ran through lots of ideas. We could make more calls. We could change the time of day we make the calls. I could employ better agents. But the idea he settled on was the American accent idea. Okay, so he had an IQ moment. He came up with a great idea. That's not enough. The next component that you need is EQ. You need other people to buy into that idea and to get excited, because an idea is just an idea. So that was the part where he got his team on board. He pulled them into a room. He told them a story. He said, I'll support you. We'll play games. I'll give you coaching. So he got them all energized. He got them on board with the idea. They could have shut it down. That's the EQ. Think about all the times in your life you want to do something. It's far easier if you get other people bought into it. But that's not enough. A great idea, even with people bought into it, not enough. The final component that came to me that it applies is this ability to focus on your idea. Right? There'd be no point in that call center if they abandoned after a week. There'd be no point if each of those calls took 8 hours because of the bad accents. He needed them to focus, do it. Right? It's the same in your lives. If you want to achieve something, if you're not focusing on it, you won't do it. So this FQ is the final component. So like I said, I go into companies, I improve IQ, EQ, FQ. But normally when I go into companies, I have the luxury of time. I can spend 2 months with a team. Right? I'm like a PT. I'm there every day correcting behaviors, changing things. Unfortunately, with you, I've got 15 minutes. How the hell am I going to fix all of you and unlock all of the talent inside of you? I mean, you're a good-looking bunch, but 15 minutes, that's pretty punchy. Well, first of all, I need to know which of these is your weakest cue. So, have a think. Hands up if your weakest cue is the IQ element. Is that the area that you feel lets down? Okay, we've got one hand. Hands up if you think your EQ is your weakest cue, your ability to get others along for the journey. Okay, 2 hands, right, 3 hands, 4 hands, 5, a few more. Hands up if you think it's FQ, your ability to focus. Welcome to the 21st century in mobile phones, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, it's FQ. All right, maybe it's just because it's rude to say that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce you to 3 personas that will help you, whichever cue is your weak cue. Okay? Now imagine this scene. A scientist, your best friend, and your nemesis walk into a bar. No, it's not the start of a terrible joke. This is what generative AI thought of that prompt. These are the 3 personas I want you to think about that will help you unlock an improvement in each of those cues. Right, let's start with the IQ. The IQ is represented by the scientist. All right, think about a scientist. What does a scientist do? They explore questions. They test things. They don't assume they already know the answer. They generate more ideas. We all did science at school. It wasn't because they thought we were Isaac Newton and they got us to prove gravity again. No, they wanted us to prove it to ourselves. Because everything you hear from somebody else is just a hypothesis to test on your own life. So if you imagine you're a scientist, anytime you need to generate more ideas, you will generate more ideas. You will be more curious. You'll explore more. So cue number one is think like a scientist. Now, on this screen is two of the finest scientists I know. They're two friends of mine. They're working in biochemistry. And one of them's in the room here today, so I can see him smiling at the back of the room. I asked him earlier this week, can you send me a photo of a scientist? He sent me the one in the bottom right. I thought that wasn't good enough, so I put the one of us playing golf. Okay, trust me, he is a great scientist. But anytime I want to improve my thinking ability, my ability to generate answers, I think of him, I think of other scientists. To be honest, sorry, Matt, I often think I'm Albert Einstein. He's a slightly better scientist. But just embrace thinking like a scientist. Do not accept the default answer that you have in your head. You'll be instantly better at IQ. Now, for the EQ, I want you to think about your best friend. Picture your best friend if they were in front of you right now. Think about how you talk to your best friend. Think about how you give them a bit more time, how you listen better. Think about how you're more accommodating. Now, imagine if you did that with everyone who's in your life. Think about how deeper the relationships would be, how much more impact you would have on influencing them and nudging them. Right? How you might just change the tone or the way you present anything to them. If everyone was your best friend, you'd surely take them further on the journey with you. So anytime you want to improve your EQ, just imagine your best friend is in that room with you. It's amazing how it can change the dynamics, the tension, and everything. So anytime I'm in a difficult situation, I think of my best friend. This is Gilbert. I've known him for 35 plus years, and he really helps me. He doesn't know it. Hopefully he's watching. He doesn't know how much he influences me day to day, even if I don't see him, because I imagine he's in the room with me whenever I'm having a difficult conversation. So imagine your best friend. It will change your levels of EQ. And finally, the FQ, the one you all said you were terrible at. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where you need to think about your nemesis. Now, for those of you who don't know what a nemesis is, this is basically someone who is of equal skill and ability to you, but wants to beat you at everything. Okay? Now, I can see people around the room going, yeah, you're my nemesis, right? The thing is, I don't have a nemesis that I'm aware of at the moment, so I had to dig deep in terms of this. And so here's a picture of Daley Thompson. For those of you who don't know who Daley Thompson is, he's the guy on the left. He was a double Olympic champion in the 1980s at the decathlon. He's a British athlete who, at the time, he was one of the few British athletes that would regularly win gold medals. But Daley Thompson freely admits that one of the main sources of his success was having a nemesis, a German gentleman called Jürgen Hingsen. Why did this help Daley Thompson? Every time Daley was out training and he wanted to take a day off and quit, he'd stop and think, what's Jürgen doing right now? What would he do if I was in this situation? He'd train an extra day. So Daley's going to train an extra day. Every time he was mid-race and he wanted to quit, he'd think, what would Jürgen do right now? Jürgen would keep running. I'm going to keep running. Literally, every time he thought about getting distracted, dropping his focus, or quitting, he would think, what is my nemesis doing right now? What would they do in this situation? It's such a powerful thinking. I often apply this to myself. What would someone who wants to destroy me do or beat me do if they were handed the keys to my company? Oh, well, they'd launch this promotion. They'd go and contact this client. They'd go and have this conversation. So why aren't you doing it? If they'd do it, why wouldn't you do it? Eh? Every time I think about having a difficult conversation, what would my nemesis do? They'd go and ask the boss for a raise. They'd go and chat up that random person in a bar. So why aren't you doing it? Eh? Think of your nemesis. It'll suddenly give you that confidence, that ability to be more focused, more ruthless. And it could be a game changer for all those who raise their hands around FQ being their greatest area to improve. That's it. 3 personas, no American accents, You just have to flick the switch in your own head to make these improvements. The key is, ladies and gentlemen, you might forget 70% of what I've taught you here today. You might forget 95% of it. But you've absorbed so much great knowledge here. Right? If I can leave you with one thought, be the scientist when you leave this room. Explore some of the concepts you've learned today. Bring them into your own life. Don't just listen to them, start applying them. Start challenging them. Be your best friend. Give yourself time and space. Support yourself as you're trying these new things. Be gentle on yourself. Explain it to others. And be your nemesis. Don't wait till tomorrow. Your nemesis would start today. Would get the most out of TED. Because you have 99% of all the knowledge you ever need. I'm here to inspire you to just unlock it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.